all together.
In the summer, I like to come. We've got 5 kids in there. We're in and out. We're cooking. We're doing. I keep the thermostat on like 66. I've had $1,200 to $1,300 months. Well, I'm like, oh my god. It's like I have to text okay. I'm like, okay. And it's like, hey, congratulations, you paid. I'm like,
You know, it's like I had to pay my mom's property taxes for a Cobb County supervisor, and so we paid it online instead of putting it through the mail.
oh, and you got the.
And
It's like an $80 fee.
they charge like $80.
Yeah.
On top of that, they use your credit card for property tax.
If you pay your county
My mom said, "We'll never ever do that again. I'll drive it there before I give those people $80 of my money."
But it is true.
That's what their transaction fee.
It's a percentage of your tax, which is a big number.
So if you pay with a check in the mail or go pay cash.
Yeah, you don't have to pay that extra $80.
That's right. Yes, $80. That's nuts.
That's what she thought.
I wouldn't pay that.
But it's a little, I can't imagine if I went to Cobb County and having to go into the tax office.
Yeah, I mean, you
probably
5,000 people. You probably line for 3 or 4 days.
I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm going to give you $80. You better make it better for the homeowner.
I just started paying it, don't worry about it. We'll mail it next time.
Now yours says, I just say we start. I guess.
Well,
I just right ahead of you.
yeah, you're way ahead of me. This is a replay. What I clicked on was a replay.
Well, I think
Replay
he's got his
certified.
street we're all fine. But
It's called Big Air Qualifying.
got it. Are they getting you there?
Yes. But my allergist,
I see he went down.
yeah, my allergist years ago told me, Keith, when you're going for your allergy shots every month, it's $50 for your 2 shots. He said, however, if you want to start paying me cash, it's $18 for your 2 shots. And I went, why? He said, because it cost me $32 in employee time, computer equipment, and everything else to process it through your insurance.
Yeah, I mean, it is, it's marketing.
And he said, yeah. He said, if you don't mind doing that, and he said, I'm happy to. I said, $32 a month, not a problem.
Oh no, that's
We talked about.
the only legal me and Dr. Kim were at a fundraiser. I overheard him telling people that you can just insurance is a racket, pay cash. And I'm like, well, the bigger numbers, do you want to get involved with collections and payment processes and all that? And the insurance company. So that's when you have to have insurance so they can pay the big numbers. But the small numbers always make sense to just pay cash.
Yeah.
But legally, they can charge you less than what Medicare, if they accept Medicare.
Yeah.
They cannot charge you less than what Medicare. And if they do, the federal government will come after you and go, hey, this is price for or whatever. And he just, I don't know if I made him aware, but he didn't argue, but he definitely didn't think he agreed with what I was saying. I was like, hey, because people will go, I'll just pay cash for my heart, transplant. No, you're not paying cash for that. Medicare reimbursement is still like $200,000 or whatever it is.
Well, I mean, that's why I like, if you go to the hospital, like, my stay in the hospital for my Legionnaire's disease was $2.6 million.
There you go.
Now, the insurance company paid all of it. Pretty much. But the insurance company ended up having to only pay $1.5 million.
Pre-negotiated contract.
Pre-negotiated contract. Now, if I had not had insurance, I could not pay the $1.5 million. I would have to pay the $2.6 million in cash.
Well, Greg was in the hospital for 9 days, and when we pay cash for your bill, they cut cut it 75%.
But they're doing that anyway. So the way that they do this is legit, right? So you need a knee replacement, right? So for a knee replacement, there's multiple people that are touching you. The facility you're in, it's an outpatient facility, but normally it's a hospital. 2 the surgeons, and then you got the anesthesiologist, you got little nurses that are touching you, and then prior to that, CT scans, MRIs, things like that. But ultimately, they're going to make the bill, $50K. Knowing that's just the frou number. That's the 2.5 number, whatever. But they know all the way down here what they're actually going to get. And normally, like, it doesn't matter. We call it BUCA. It used to be Blue Cross Blue Shield, but now it's Anthem. United Healthcare, Cigna, the big four. Their negotiations are virtually all the same. They might be within $1 of each other. Certain areas they might have an extra 4 or 5% that they get, but across the board they're pretty much the same. So in this case, that BUCA, I do this all day, every day, is probably $30K. So now we talk about what you get that EO, explanation business. And you're going to see this amount paid, charged $50K, discounts 30, amount allowed $20K for that surgery. Now legally, if Medicare reimburses, whereas BUCA is getting 30K off and it's a 20, Medicare is normally this is about 2.3 of Medicare. But it gets a little wonky when you start talking about surgeons and hospitals. So theirs might be, Medicare might be 15K. So this is true. So this is Med. You go in and you pay cash, they cannot charge you less than this. But what they're going to tell you was $50,000 if you use your insurance. And you're like, $50,000 if I use my insurance. How much is it if I don't? $15K. You're like, oh, I'll pay the $15K. Now, if I'm standing beside you, I go, well, is this a one-off surgery? Like, you think after this you're done? Because if you pay this $15K, your deductible, your out-of-pocket that you have with your care is not met. And if the next visit you go in, now you've paid this $15K, plus you still owe your $5,000 deductible, co-insurance, whatever, because you're not getting credit from your carrier. So what I always say is like, look guys, don't read into this. File it. It ends up only being $20K. You know that $20K, you pay your deductible, and you're done. But it's right. So the IRS. So in the IRS, what they'll do is me and Keith on a orthopedic practice. Well, we charge $50,000, but all we got was $20, so we get a write-off.
Within $30,000.
Yeah.
Tax write-off.
Yeah.
Then we end up not having to pay taxes.
Yeah. Trust me.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Because it's a loss. So hey, I normally would get 50, but I didn't get 40. And then normally what happens is this 20, the carrier's paying less than deductible. But you'd be amazed at the people that pay their bills. They have a $2,000 deductible. And guess what? Aaron does mortgages for them. You know, credit card dings and medical expense dings, most mortgage companies don't even know. Like if your score's low because of that, they'll still give you a loan. They don't even care. Because everybody walks on the medical bills.
One of the great professionals say that the number in there for less than 5 minutes, so they will take $200 for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, that's
Keeping the world's strength together.
it's but people, a lot of people think and look at it like that. It's like, well, if you don't have insurance, then you don't have a choice. You got to take the cost, negotiate, and settle. And they're huge Well, these hospitals make money. So one of my buddies runs Piedmont in here. And then I have a really good friend. He's down to 12. Right now, they have no beds. So their entire hospital is full. Right? What they charge per night is like $3,300 a night per bed, just to be there. And that's the and every bed's full every night.
And they don't pay a penny tax.
Now let me y'all struggling here. Anyway, you struggling. You want to have it? That's $100.
Yeah, they won't let you take your own medicine in. They make you buy their medicine. And that pill you pay maybe 10 cents for, they charge you like $100.
So the next time,
You get an ambulance ride too, man?
and y'all gotta hear me. Y'all ain't gonna like what I'm about to say, but Buka, those insurance providers, and you guys would know at the center, they're coming in and trying to negotiate that down. They're actually on your side, not the hospital side. So the hospital, technically what they want to do is remove them and deal directly with you. What I do. Hey, you should be happy you think that. I convinced people that that was a good deal.
There you go.
But everybody's like, hey, how can I negotiate? We need to lower, the medical cost needs to be lower. And I go, well, next question. How much would you pay for the person who was that? Everything I got. It's like, well, that's not where it's to negotiate.
See, yeah. That changed the whole story.
That changes it all. It's like, hey, I gotta, you know, make sure
Oh, yeah.
that way she can get over.
Speech if I were you,
You know who gets the credit for this? You? No. The state legislature. Hey man, I got an idea. We're gonna put this on the express line.
And of course, you know, when it goes to that, they could actually submit it and say 200,000 or 500,000.
But they don't have to go to Congress.
No, they could do it themselves if they wanted to, but the traditional method is for local governments to make that request to us.
Just like we own all the property, we own all the property.
Yeah, for the school system. Yeah, same thing.
I think we got all this news going on with
Could very well be. The school system give back to you. They want you to pay for it.
they ain't paying nothing for it.
I'm well aware of that.
But they don't have to. We could just say, sorry.
Yeah. Well, they can say it's no longer used for school purposes, and then y'all protect it.
I mean, is there a way, do they have a good enough attorney to say that they're using it for school purposes?
Well, y'all agreed to that with the agreement.
Yeah,
If they can use it for that?
Yeah.
I don't know if they agree with my doctor years.
That's just 2 years. I think it's got 2 more years on it.
This game,
Pearl,
you'd probably get me into it. I don't get it. Like, I understand show
I'll tell you, I was very into it a couple of Olympics ago when the Russian females never seen it.
Yeah, well, there you go.
That one excites me, but outside of that, I mean, to me, that is something you sit around and drink beer and do.
Dude, they are.
Oh, I know.
It is unbelievable how good they are. Like, I'm watching it and I'm like, how in the world did they knit that one little bit? And you know, there's some that can throw it or slide it, curl it, whatever you call it, and they don't need help. And then there's others that they're immediately yelling, "Hey, get out! Screw this!" Sorry, Dad, we're really focused.
But that's, it's more popular than hot.
Where is that? Is it Columbus? Yeah.
Well, you know, next thing you know, there'll be cornhole in it.
In the Olympics. Yeah. Surprising.
That's with a P.
Cornhole in the Olympics. We're watching curling in the Olympics. Strong P. So cornhole in the Olympics.
It will. It will.
Hey. Good evening.
He's keeping an eye on you.
You did that.
It's got so quiet. Is Gary about to tell another joke?
No, you're supposed to.
While we have a second, we got just about a minute. Ernestine, delightful to have you with us. Thank you. Freddie, I want you to read out loud what the side of her recorder that she's using says.
Stolen from Matt Centine.
Point it right there so everybody can see
I'm
that.
thinking that's a frame up.
Yeah, she's got about 3 of them that have that on there. It's 7 o'clock. Good evening. I'll call this meeting of the Cartersville City Council to order. If you'll please stand for our invocation and pledge.
Let us pray. Our Father in heaven, once again we assemble ourselves in the seat of government of Cartersville, Georgia, to do the business of the city. Father, we ask for guidance, clarity, and wisdom as we make the decisions that's best for the citizens of Cartersville, Georgia. Come down, be in the midst, guide our discussion, guide our actions, and we'll be so grateful. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Drake roll, please.
I know.
Harry Todd, Ward 1. Jay Stepp, Ward 2.
here.
Harry Rawl, Ward 3.
Here.
Calvin Cooley, Ward 4.
Here.
Gary Fox, Ward 5. Here. Alyssa Cordell, Ward 6.
Here.
Thank you, Council. If you'll take just a moment, make sure your microphones are turned on. First order of business is the approval of our council meeting minutes from January 22nd. You've had the opportunity to look these over, make any corrections if any are needed, and now would be the time to note those. And if there are none, a motion is in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And the minutes are approved. Council, I'm going to ask you to add one item to the agenda this evening.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. One item added. We're going to take this item right off the top. Council has a resolution. Mr. Lovell, if you would kick us off with that added item.
Yes, Mayor. This additional item is a resolution where we are going to request our local legislative delegation with the state of Georgia to introduce a local act to call for an election of the voters of the city of Cartersville to approve a homestead exemption of $100,000. That will be applicable for all single-family residential property owners in the city, whether you are a senior or not. The existing senior exemption will be on top of that. You know, if the voters approve it, it will be effective as of January 1st for the next tax year. But that will be up to the voters to decide. It will more than likely be held at the November election with all the other elections that are going to be conducted at that time. I believe finance staff has reviewed this and is recommending it for your approval. Just so you know, it will cost a loss of revenue to the city of around $930,000, which the city believes its growth through the new investments and everything y'all are getting from new industries and everything can make up for that. And that's about it. It is recommended for your approval.
Yeah, this was a step that we talked about at our council visioning last week. Initially start off just to match what the county was doing, but as we looked at that, council felt there was an opportunity to be real aggressive, and so we're going to $100,000. What that essentially means is that if you have a home that's valued at $250,000, that you won't be paying any of the city M&O. It'll totally take that part out, and I think I can speak for council from the conversations we've had. This is probably the first step, and our goal would be to eventually increase that to the point where hopefully every homeowner, single-family homeowner, would not have to pay that city M&O. You know, when people talk about growth and they say, what's in it for me? Quite frankly, the single-family homeowner, this is a dividend of that. We've got strong revenue streams that are coming in that are on solid ground. We expect those to continue to grow. And so the benefit of that is providing, I think, what's going to be fairly significant tax relief on your property tax bill, again, from the management and operations side of the city of Cartersville, in addition to some of the other things we talked about in regards to amenities that the community has been asking for, and staying ahead of that growth and make sure we're providing quality growth. So, anybody else have something to add about that? Very good. So, that being said, if there is no other discussion, the resolution before you, the chair will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. And motion carries unanimously. Thank you for that, council, for adding that. Moving it to the top. Mr. Arnold, if you'll get us going with Z26-01.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Council, this case, zoning case Z2601 is for property located at 407 Old Mill Road, which is the northeast corner of the intersection of Old Mill Road and Dothet Ferry Road. The applicant is requesting the property be rezoned from office commercial to general commercial for a hot rod shop, custom car operation there. The applicant is already in the space with a limited license, so this rezoning would allow them to get the full license that they need to operate their business as they intend to. The applicant, as well as the proposed tenant, is here tonight to answer your questions. Nothing has changed since the last hearing.
Thank you for that. And any questions for Zach at this time? Good. Thank you. I'll open up a public hearing for Z26-01 and ask anybody who wishes to step forward to speak on the topic, may or may not, noting that all the comments made in the first reading carry over into this one. And so if there's something new to add or any further clarification, that would be the time to do it. Anyone wishing to speak for or against? And seeing none, I'll close the public hearing for Z26-01. Any discussion or questions from council needed? If there are none, a motion is in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And motion carries unanimously. Thank you for that. Mr. Lovell, you have second reading of our bond ordinance.
Yes, Mayor and Council, as y'all may recall, we approved the, we had presented to you the first reading of the supplemental series ordinance for the 2026 water and sewer bond. We had all the financial information in that ordinance blank because the pricing call was going to occur today. That call did occur, and the city was very happy with those results and did accept that. So all those blanks have been filled in. At this time, we will recommend that you approve the second reading of the supplemental series 2026 water and sewer bond ordinance. Mr. Agan, our underwriter and finance folk for this, is here. He'll go up and briefly present to you some of the details about that before y'all are requested to vote. I would like to note, while y'all are approving this, you're also approving the fact that we filled in these same numbers in the bond purchase agreement, which y'all had previously approved at an earlier meeting. Thank you, Mr. Agan.
All right, thank you, Keith, and thank you, Mayor and Council. It's an honor to be here this evening and give you an update on how our bond sale went today. Been working really on with your management since, I guess, late summer on this, to fund the necessary wastewater and water treatment plant projects to handle the growth that our community is going to have, the industrial and even future residential, think, have the system in good shape to 2025. So a cornerstone of getting those projects done was this $250 million financing. Taxes are not pledged here. This is an enterprise fund. So the investors that are buying these bonds are taking the water sewer revenue is the credit on these. So we timed this sale around getting the city's 25 audit completed, and then as soon as that was finished in late 25, we went straight to Moody's and S&P and had a credit rating review, and they acknowledged that this is a large project, but the city really went into this in good shape. Strong financially, had taken the steps necessary to handle this project and the significant debt that it's taken to make it happen. So the results came back from that. The city maintained the AA3, AA- ratings, which is a solid high investment grade rating. And I'm not going to read every quote, but I did prepare some information on what the rating agencies stated. But the city's in good shape. So for the last 2 weeks, our firm had really been trying to market these bonds to all potential types of investors. Our job was to create as much demand possible for your bonds to hopefully be able to do what we ended up doing was reprice. So we for 2 weeks pre-marketed, and we had an order period where everybody had to put in their order for the bonds at the rates we set. So we had about $250 million in bonds available, and we had about $2.3 billion in orders. So that was 536 different accounts placed orders to buy the city's bonds. So it was very thoroughly subscribed, and way more demand. So that allowed us to tighten up that price and say, okay, well, we need some of you to drop out. So we're going to lower the rate a little bit to the city's benefit. So the net result of that oversubscription from there was about a $3.2 million debt service savings over the 30 years from the numbers that we were looking at last night before pricing today. So, the sale went very, very well. These are long-term fixed rate bonds because we need to keep the payments fairly low because these are long-term projects. The final payment will be in 2056 if it's not refinanced. After 10 years, the city will have the option, not the requirement, but if rates are lower, we want to pay something, you could refinance or pay this off after 10 years. But the average bond yield fixed is 3.985%, and the all-inclusive cost to maturity, which I think is the most conservative with all the costs of doing this, is 4.3968%. So, these are tax-free bonds, so the investors who buy these don't pay federal or state of Georgia income tax, so that helps you get a little bit better rate. So, you may think, hey, a mortgage is 6 point something percent, so in the fours is considerably better, but the reason for that is a solid credit, the city, and then also the tax advantages the investors buy these. So that's a very quick overview. I'm not going to go by the market. I did prepare some information that you may or may not have gotten, but the sale went very, very well. You got a great management team. Diane, I've been wearing her out, but you got a good one over here in the finance. So I hope she'll be here for years to come. So that's I probably talked longer than Keith wanted me to already.
26 seconds.
Yeah, I'll be the 26. So if you have any questions, let me know. Happy to address those. But
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Agan on this? Thank you, sir.
thank you.
Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And motion carries unanimously. And I do want to thank everybody that put a lot of hard work into getting us to this point, and now that we finally get that deal totally done and can continue to move forward with that. So, Mr. Dixon, you've got the next item, please, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This agreement with Chick-fil-A states that all costs associated with the relocation of the natural gas main infrastructure in conflict with this development will be paid for by the developer. The estimated cost of this relocation is $45,842.01, and council's approval of this agreement is recommended.
Thank you. Questions for Michael on this? If none, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
That's second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Mr. Archer.
Cartersville Cartersville school system has requested an additional 40-foot by 10-foot storage room to be constructed between the dugout and hitting locker room facility at Dellinger Park. This space will be used to store uniforms, bats, balls, and other softball equipment, and will include access control. The total cost of this change order is $52,560, and the Cartersville school system will fund 100% of the additional expense. Therefore, we recommend approval of this change order.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, David. Mr. McKee.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. The first item that we have for you tonight is the Electric Department's requesting approval to purchase 2 3-phase pad-mounted transformers. This would be from Gresco Utility Supply for a total of $28,010, and this would be a budgeted expense.
Thank you. Questions on this item? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item, please, Tom.
And this is the request to purchase 17 utility pole storage bunks. This would be from Steel Materials Incorporated for a total of $46,631.99, and this would be a budgeted expense.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, sir. Mr. Lovell, you've got an emergency ordinance we need to consider.
Yes, Mayor. Police Department recently went out to enforce a no parking zone on what is called North Point Drive in our ordinance, but it has actually been named Point North Drive. So they were unable to do that, so they have requested that we amend the ordinance to allow them to go enforce that. Due to the issues involving parking out there and public safety issues, it is recommended that this ordinance be emergency in nature.
Okay. Does the motion need to note that it's an emergency ordinance?
It's part of the ordinance.
Okay, thank you. All right. Are there any questions or discussion? And if not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve the emergency ordinance.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. And Ms. DeSanto, are you going to kick us off, or are we just going to go straight to Mr. Jones?
Yes.
She's like, I don't have to speak at a meeting. I'm not.
Mayor, Council, thank you for having me tonight. My name is Ryan Jones. I'm a partner with Malden and Jenkins, here to present the results of the fiscal 25 audit. We did finish this audit back in December, and it was submitted to the state and the GFOA by the December 31st deadline. The document that I'm presenting from, you all have a copy of. It contains all of our required communications. I'm just going to touch on a few of the high points this evening. So if we jump over to page 4, our responsibility as auditors is to design procedures, perform procedures, and report on the results of those procedures, ultimately arriving at an audit opinion. Management's responsibility is for the financial statements and also for maintaining internal controls. Our opinion is an unmodified opinion. That is the highest level of assurance that a CPA firm can give on a set of financial statements, so it's a clean opinion. So congratulations to the city on that. I will next move to page 6. Just a brief overview of the results of operations for fiscal 25, taking into account governmental activities and business type activities, your utilities and such. The ending equity balance, net position balance, $570.4 million, and that was an increase of $73.8 million from the prior year. Unrestricted net position sits at $179.7 million, and that is the amount of equity that is not restricted by outside funding sources. Moving to page 7, we'll get into a brief discussion of your general fund. It's the primary operating fund of the city. General fund revenues for fiscal 25 came in at $33.1 million, of which 63% of that was from taxes, as expected, and that is very consistent with the same composition last year. Moving on to page 8, total general fund expenditures in fiscal 25, $54.4 million. You had a change in fund balance, which is the equity of the fund, of $4 million, increasing from $38.3 million to about $42.4 million as of June 30th, 2025. GFOA recommends 2 to 3 months of expenditures in fund balance. When you do the calculation, you compare the unassigned fund balance in the general fund to the total expenditures for fiscal 25. You come out to about 256 days worth of expenditures sitting in reserves. The next several pages, some more information about the financial statements themselves. If we go to page 12, there is a brief overview of the two separate reports that we issue in addition to our audit report. You have a yellow book report and a single audit report. Beginning on page 14 are the required communications that auditing standards tell us we have to make to governance. So this is a comprehensive list of all of those communications. I will move to page 15. I do just want to point out that inherent in your financial statements are some pretty significant estimates, most especially regarding your benefit plans. So that would be your pension plan and your other post-employment benefits plan, inherently subject to change. And those are some pretty big numbers that are on your statement of net position for the city. Moving to page 16, we did not have any past adjustmts. I also want to point out that we do independence assessments annually, and we are independent of the city and able to issue an objective opinion. On page 18, we're going to talk about two of the audit findings that were reported this year. We are responsible for reporting internal control deficiencies. The first one, 2025-001, while we were testing the city's grant revenue, we identified that some expenditures had been incurred for grants that had not been recorded as receivable from the funding sources. We pointed that out to management. Management agreed, so we got those amounts adjusted in the financial statements. That is, since we found it, that is required to be communicated as a finding. Finding 2025-002, while testing the highway planning and construction program, that's a federal program under the single audit, one of the reimbursements out of the 10 total we tested, there was a $27,000 over reimbursement requested from the federal government because the total expenditures incurred were not reduced by the 20% local match, and management will work with the funding source to make that right. Overall, it's a successful audit. I'll concur with Gabe's statement. Diana and her team do a great job, so thanks to them. Everything else in this packet is information about upcoming changes to the auditing standards and the journal entries that were posted during the year subsequent to our receipt of those initial numbers that are reflected in the financial statements. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Jones? Good? Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Brady, you got anything to add?
No, sir.
Can you please say something negative about Diana, because I don't think her head's going to fit out that door. I do appreciate the hard work that went into this as well, and all the departments that played a role in that, and it's always good to have a high, clean opinion on that. Is there any other business that needs to come forward to the council tonight? Please step forward, and for our clerk, if you'll please state your name and address.
Oh, I got it.
Great.
Connie Hanna, Mr. Stepp may know this address, 274 Briar Patch Lane in Deerfield Estates. And I have to read this because I'm Irish and I tend to get wound up, so my husband made me print it. So we have lived at 274 Briar Patch Lane for almost 18 years. I no longer feel safe in our home. First, I would like to commend the Cartersville Police Department and Code Enforcement for their hard work on our case. They have been diligent yet compassionate and caring. My husband works for Delta Airlines and is gone a lot, as you can imagine. He now flies international, which is wonderful, but he is out of the country and I'm not really able to reach him unless it's a death or something. Juveniles, allegedly from Part 366, cut a hole in an exterior fence, which belongs to the Hanna Apartments, and climbed over our stucco wall around our swimming pool. Now, 3 or 4 years ago, we had juveniles actually climb over the wall and were swimming in our swimming pool until a neighbor found them. And a police department came, and that was resolved very quickly. But this time, they climbed over the wall and vandalized our whole backyard and our swimming pool. They threw over 60 rocks, large and small, which we have had to hire a professional dive team to come in Friday at the cost of $400 to $600. Each rock has to be removed not to tear the liner. And I know this is the first world problem. However, we're getting to more stuff. So I have a dive team coming, and that just amazes me. And more than likely damaged. We replaced the liner 7 months ago at a cost of $7,000. And we won't know until tomorrow if we will be having to replace that liner again, which infuriates me. They threw pool equipment, several planters, stomped and busted several pipes leading to the pool equipment, and busted some lights on. I mean, they did a good bit of damage. We don't know what else they did. We have a refrigerator out there, and we have a pool house. I'm sure Mr. Stepp knows that. And we keep beer and stuff in there for when our friends come over. So we're not sure if they got in that. The detectives asked me, but of course now we're gonna have to put a lock on our refrigerator because we all know if they get drunk and drown, my husband and I will be sued for that action. So totally amazing. So my questions are, so the damage to the pool possibly cost us over $8,000 plus another $1,000 to install high-tech security cameras. So we now look like Fort Knox. If we file for homeowners, as y'all probably well know, we will be canceled. So this is coming out of our pocket to repair. Why do these juveniles think it's okay to come into my home and do this to our property? I think it's because they're juveniles. I used to work for Cobb County Juvenile Court, and I know they're probably gonna think they'll get a slap on the wrist, which more than likely will be. As a city, are we going to tolerate the citizen-on-citizen crime without consequences? Why am I losing sleep at night? Because I can guarantee you that they are not. I'm asking for your help. Are they going to keep escalating their crimes? Now, the home next door to us is being renovated, and from what I understand, I don't have knowledge, they did damage in that home. They have been going through our neighborhood looking at mailboxes, which the neighbors didn't want to get involved, so, and we have a lot of elderly people in that neighborhood, and this just should not be happening. So my concern is, and the detective even said to me that more than likely this could possibly escalate. And the next step could be them breaking into our home. That's not acceptable. My property taxes are more now than my sister who lives in Brookhaven in the city of Atlanta, and we're fine to pay that. However, if I'm gonna pay these taxes, I should not be laying at night scared that someone is going to come in. And I know that a lot of these kids have weapons. I'm not stupid. I worked in the court. And we are petrified. Code enforcement has been to court, I don't know how many times, taken this complex. I understand the owners of 366 are in New York. It is now like a slum. I went down there, and I have been to the inner city of New York, and I will tell you that's what I felt like where I was. I was shocked to see. I spoke to the manager of the apartment. She just basically gave me the whatever answer. I'll talk to our owner. The owners are not willing to do anything, from what I understand. They're slumlords, and now all of this is spilling over into our community, and I don't even really know what to say. Deerfield has always, the detective told me, he goes, we never come in here. We never, and we've been in here 3 times. So that is our problem. I don't know what the answer is, but I will tell you that I should not be laying there scared while the juveniles are raining terror on our neighborhood. So. Any questions?
I don't know, were you aware, I wouldn't expect that you would be, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I guess I would assume that if there's been this activity, that perhaps our police would be doing stepped-up patrols over there?
Sure, and we can verify that also.
In your neighbors, are there any, again, the unfortunate thing is, cameras could have stopped. It's easy to say now, gee, if we had cameras, but are any of your neighbors have cameras? And I mean, certainly the police, I agree with you. I mean, it doesn't matter what house you live in or where you live in, you should feel safe, and nobody should be allowed to come onto your property and damage your property.
Right.
So, and I thank you for the kind words for the police. I'm sure they're diligent looking at it, but I guess I'm trying to say, are there resources that might be like Ring cameras at other houses that may have captured anything?
I'll help explain. So the house that she's in is a house my mom and dad had years ago.
Okay.
So it's all the way at the end of the neighborhood, and Anverse is catty corner to her, and then you have the apartment complex, and they have always walked that back wall. I mean, for years. Never anything like that for us.
Oh, yeah, we've had walkers, that's fine.
Yes, but there is a road, and I don't know what kind of fencing or what, I don't know who owns the woods. I mean, we can look it up, but, so Matt, there's nobody beside her, behind, where the people are walking.
Yeah, I'm looking at the map
It's
now,
just
so-
her. Now, once they get through your side and get down to the cul-de-sac, they can go wherever they want to go.
Right, yeah, it's a perfect place, and we're in a corner, but I will tell you guys that, I mean, the Detective Gregory, I mean, they've opened a case, because obviously this is felony charges due to the damage, and they've been wonderful. But, he told me, he said, well, I can't promise anything, and I'm like, well, people have seen them come in this, and I understand that having worked in law enforcement. However, so the police department, I mean, years ago, I wouldn't have been very impressed, but now that we've got the new police chief, I'll just tell you, I have seen a major change, and it's wonderful. But when we went out of town, I called and got on zone patrol, and it was actually funny because our housekeeper came and she called me immediately. We were in Florence. She goes, "There's a cop sitting right in your driveway." And I said, "It's okay." So I knew they were doing their job. So they're doing what they can. Code enforcement's doing, they keep taking them back to court and taking them to court. And Judge White, I think, has had about a hiney full of this too. But at the end of the day, having a hiney full is not.
The complex has been to court at least 4 times over the last 4 years, and I think total fines that have been assessed are over $20,000 on them.
Have they paid them, or are they in arrears?
Oh, no,
Do you know?
they pay.
Okay.
It's 100%, from what I understand, subsidized housing.
Okay.
And that's fine. Everyone has the right for a place to live. But when you start coming in my place to live, now it's a problem.
I understand. Well, I'm sorry having to deal with it. And Mr. Morgan will get with our police chief to see what other what other steps we can take. And said, unfortunately, or fortunately, now that you have cameras up, if they try to do something again, hopefully we can get the specific people and get them, and hopefully they get what's coming to them and then some.
We look like Fort Knox now. But also, I will tell you that I am considering filing a small claims court against the owner of the apartment complex to recover the money, not for the money, but to start holding them accountable for the damage done. That's the only reason. I mean, it'd be nice to get some money, because y'all well know we're not going to see a penny of any of this. So any help would be appreciated. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm willing to do what I can to protect my neighbors.
If you will, Ms. Hannah, please stay after the meeting. We'll get the information.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for letting me.
Thank you. Any other business that needs to come before council this evening? Seeing none, Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Stay go.